And one. Hello and welcome to the preview of Chipping Norton Stakes Day at Warwick Farm.
No, Randwick.
Oh, we're not going to.
Why aren't we at Warwick Farm?
We're not going to the Liverpool City Cup.
No, well, the reason, the official line that the reason why we're not at Warwick Farm is with the. It's not that. Well, it's not officially that anyway. Is that with the development going on at Warwick Farm, because Inglis is moving from Newmarket to Warwick Farm, there was. The construction is basically taking over a lot of the course. There's not enough car park. There've been cabling and things that have to be moved, and they said they couldn't cater, like a Wednesday crowd or a Wednesday meeting they can cater for, but for a Saturday crowd the facility would not be able to cater for due to the circumstances at the moment. In other
words, it's a goat tracker. They'd rather run it at Randwick.
That is not correct, Dallas. That is not correct.
I like Warwick Farm though, personally. We've done Warwick
that's
Farm.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, but that makes sense.
It's
because you can't park in a car park, and that's torture enough on a Wednesday, let alone for a Saturday.
There's no access off General Holmes Road or whatever. King George's Road.
Whatever. James Rooster Road.
Whatever that main road is coming to Warwick Farm.
No, Brett, the key is
Governor Macquarie Drive. We got it there after about 8 times.
The key is there's no access off Allison Road, and we need everything at Allison Road. That's the key point.
My geography of Western Sydney has waned in the past.
You say goodbye to them.
Big hello to our loyal viewers.
Oh, don't worry, Brett and I both come. Brett was further west than I, but I'm a Hills District Parramatta boy. I get lost around Rose Hill now too.
Yeah, certainly been a few years anyway.
Alright, Randwick, Mark, 6 metre rail. Weather fluky, as you said in the article yesterday, but more chance of getting away with it than having it.
Yeah, there'll be moisture around on the coast, and we could get some. Nothing like they got last week, which was 2.5 inches in a short space of time a week ago, which has meant that they have put no water on the track, which is an interesting phenomenon. So the last time the track was watered was last Friday. They put 2 mils on.
Yeah, okay.
So they had significant rain on Saturday night, early Sunday morning, which meant that they haven't watered all week, which means it's an unirrigated track.
Okay.
So, my thought is that you've obviously got the lane 2 horses out from the current rail position.
About the next 4, yep.
But I would think that the inside the lane would be okay as well because it's not being irrigated.
Okay. All right. Lovely.
So I'm looking out for horses on the inside section of the track to do relatively well. Yeah,
and it will be again a thicker, denser track. Navesh has been away from holidays, but he's back. Spoke to him yesterday. He said, yeah, it's seriously thick and in really good order. So I would imagine fitness will play another big role. And whether that actually favours leaders and makes them die a bit, or it makes it harder to run on, that's the other theory too, because it's harder to pick up your feet through the Amazon.
6 just gives the opportunity for leaders a lot better than the true and 3 metre rail anyway. So
yeah, it's a different track.
It's just a completely different track.
Also, it does bring into play the really fast out wide lanes for some of the bigger fields as well too. But
well, you only get 12 in race 8.
Yeah. Because there's emergencies. Oh, but 12 is still close. If it's the right configuration, bit of an anchor drop there in the mid stages and bring out, slingshot out. Could be. Anyway, that is Randwick. But you're saying more likelihood of no rain. Or not significant
I think
rain.
we'll get
0 to 5 mils or something.
We'll get to Randwick and they might have had a shower or 2 tomorrow, but it'll just be a bit unpleasant without necessarily raining tomorrow.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
All right, lovely. Where are we at with your grass coverage? Oh, hang on. Speaking of which,
yeah, I'm just getting a bit of the Mark wisdom rolling up here.
I'll stay. 2400 metre, the rematch, the grand final replay of 2 weeks ago. They haven't stopped talking about Defrost My Heart versus Springbok Flyer here and there. They share favouritism. Another cocktail joins the mix, who was supposed to be in the mix last time, wasn't it? But was scratched.
Well, will the fuck he start? Like,
yeah, will it be a dry track?
Now he's had time off but a trial in between and up to 2400, I don't know. It was a dry track 2 weeks ago, he didn't run.
That's right, yeah. Anyway, that's right. Okay, we're here. We're there.
So I mean, obviously it's a bit of a waller-a-thon again, and Chris will make decisions tomorrow morning about which horses run and which horses don't, and have us tearing our hair out as usual. But Springbok Flyer looks to take it up. Mr. Steele got himself in an awkward situation and couldn't really contest the other day. But I mean, it's a similar looking circumstance. Anyway, I'm wondering whether they might be a touch more urgent on Mr. Steele. I know that Archean is going back tomorrow, leaving Defrost My Heart in a prominent position. She had to work into a prominent position the other day. Loving Home thereabouts. Award season midfield. DIC is the wild card. He's a New Zealand backmarker that Gay trains, so that means he leads.
Yeah. As you said last week, Dick.
So DIC is the wild card in terms of the speed. He raced midfield in a mile, but quickly up to 2400. He would want to be handy here, and we already have 2 established leaders in Springbok Flyer and Mr. Steele.
All right, do they fight out again, or what happens here? Brent, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was with another cocktail before it was scratched a fortnight ago. It's had a trial in between to keep it ticking over. It was a sort of solidly run 1200 metre trial. I think he gets his opportunity again here.
Well, the point that we all made last time, 2 weeks ago I should say, was the dry track.
Yeah, it's dry track, it's 2400 metres, it's now 4th up. Chris Waller formula, race, back to trials, back to the races is certainly something that he uses with success. So I think from barrier 2, just gets a nice parking behind the speed, and if it shows that turn of foot that it did in its 1600 metre race and proves that it can stay, I think it'll go close to winning this race. I thought Archean can definitely bounce back. That was an unusual below par performance their last start, and I think now you're just getting sort of 4 times the price. I think
Glenn made a really good point about these rough staying races, and I haven't really crunched the numbers that, and I think Robbie agrees with him, is that the favourites are too short and the outsiders are too long. And we saw that last week with Arab Old Mate, Arab Dawn. That wasn't a racist comment either, it's just calling the horse's name. And I think that's Archean. Rather, just forget the run. 3 weeks, 2400 metres. It's now 2400 metres 2 weeks.
Well,
and it presented quite well in the yard too. So
Springbok Fly goes up 4 kilos. Defrost My Heart didn't want to win last start. Like, I just think that form, I don't really want to be. I think like DIC, Lord Disick, even a lightly race sort of stayer, has a little bit of promise. But look, I'm tipping another cocktail, not with a lot of confidence, but that's the way I'd be pointing in this race.
All right, Mark, you got any thoughts?
Lord Disick, who had a sort of an uncomfortable run in that race. That was his 2400 metre springboard. Best form for a 2400 metre race is 2400 metre race. And he started shortest in the race, so I'll give Lord Disick another chance. Loving Home is a Waller horse that I've got my eye on here. He won a shitty Friday night race, but did it tough. And he's my Waller preference in the race.
Shitty is a fine form line for this, though, isn't it?
Well,
I think you got to go to degree.
It's actually my favourite race on the program.
Yeah, of course. Really? Yeah, but that's the world of Mark, isn't it?
Yeah. I would have taken 20 to 1 though.
No, just bizarro world. Anyway, that's race 1. Before we get to race 2, unleash your inner psychopath. The quote of the week. G. Pollard on how to play the tournament, and it's a good tournament to play. The $100,000 Blue Diamond tournament, Blue Diamond Day tournament. Minimum prize for first is $50,000, and then lots of good prizes down from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, etc. So, boys, it is another huge tournament. As I said, $50,000 guaranteed to the winner, $100,000 guaranteed prize pool.
Certainly one to get involved with. I remember the last $100,000 tournament, which was on Derby Day, and I was actually at a wedding, and throughout the afternoon I was trying to play on my phone. Putting bets on and watching races in between weddings. I sort of got towards the top of the leaderboard late in the day, but then the inner psychopath got towards me, and I blasted out. But certainly was an interesting way to spend a wedding anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And no more weddings on Derby.
No,
that's just
well,
cool,
it's unfortunately not much you can do about it.
Yeah, people do that.
You don't go.
Yeah, no, sorry, I could only make the... I had a kid that died. It's funny that. So the tournament, huge. Just get involved in it. It's a $200 flat buy.
Just keep watching the bloody the vision, of Glenn just ramping things up.
Yeah, that's right. And you just check in and you can just check in and watch if you're not involved.
Mate of ours ran second in it last week. Patrick Allen.
Yeah.
He's become a bit of a tournament buff, and He said he was.
He'd be hard in the market for this one.
He said he was in front up until the last race in Adelaide last week, and he tried to play it around and just got pipped for the 3,000. Still ended up with 1,500 and a ticket into Saturday. So I know.
Well, I think that one of the keys is obviously to be in the game in the last thing. But as Glenn said in the video, is you got to look down the list and you think where the last race is or the last few races are. That if you're on 200 and somebody's on 20. There's going to be a 10 to 1 chance probably win that race. So they're one of those people in that, because there'll be a lot of people in this tournament, are a chance of getting you. So you're not home until you're home. No, so yeah,
interesting.
So many layers to the tournament, such good fun and great money. You know, for $200, there's not many people in Australia tomorrow that are going to turn 200 into 50,000, but there is one person that will do that on the top better tournament, and that could be you. And you could turn the 200 into 10 or 5 or even 1,000. It's still a good afternoon.
Sure is.
I'll be on the first flight to Vegas. Can I get a week off if I'm on the 50?
You can. You're exactly right. Why not?
That is what I'll be doing. If I can win the tournament tomorrow, I'll be on VA1 LA Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night. You don't even do this.
Saturday night. I'll log to Vegas, probably sort of whatever time, 14 hours difference. I'm just going to rock up to the airport in jeans, passport and a toothbrush.
That's it.
And just see what happens.
Be back Thursday. Back for the preview show on Friday.
I reckon you could do 25 in a week and have a good time.
Exactly right. Wow. Preview show Friday without any sleep.
Yeah. Inside here. Yeah.
Skyline Stakes is race 2 over 1,200 metres. Telperion 230 or thereabouts. Suchez at the 00 Shays 350-ish, and Good Standing $5. Hit the market.
Well, we've got some interesting unraced horses here too, because Heyman was labelled urgent in his trial. He looks to participate early.
Good story on Ray Duffy on the site too.
Yeah, Duff's a part owner of Heyman, and he said that he was actually shocked to see it trial that well. He said he was scared to watch its last trial because its first one was so average, but he's pleasantly surprised at how well it's going at the moment.
Okay, and what's he forecasting tomorrow?
He said that, well, the indication, and I spoke with Lee Curtis, is that the horse will be sort of let run and see what it can do, but they're basically just having a throw at the stumps. They're sort of coming a bit of a surprise.
Okay, he's not improving quickly.
Yes, that's what they've said. That a month ago they wouldn't have expected to be where they are now, but they're here and you're going to have our club.
Totally. Beautiful.
Because this is a semi-serious race. I mean, obviously we've got the horse that rounded them up a fortnight back, and question marks on the depth behind him. Suchez did the job in good style at Rosehill. You know, he stood up. We've got Good Standing, who surprised everyone on debut at Rosehill in pretty good figures, and he resumes in his second preparation, 2 trials. Being trained out of Menard.
What is that, Bree?
That's Mudgee. That's
their like gurus pre-training.
Okay. Yeah, so clearly it hasn't been at Menard. It's a slip up, just like Unequivocal hasn't been at Flemington. So
my format's Randpreview for Good Standing.
Yeah, that's where. That's correct. But other form doesn't have Randwick.
All right, cool.
Anyway. Good Standing returns here, and he was a surprise packet on debut. And then we mentioned Heyman. Mediterranean looks like he might be a good style of Snowden 2-year-old, and Vega from the Babaker yard has had a good opinion. Yeah, he's had a few trials. He has had a few trials. He's 6, 5,
3 this time.
He's turned a foot in his most recent trial.
Oh, he's looking good, Vega. He had $170,000 lope to Vega. I imagine that's the expensive end of those horses. So he clearly there's an opinion there. So I think this race will answer a number of questions. It's not the Todman, but it is the Skyline, and it's a race I'm interested in. And obviously I started with Telperion, and then I got scared. So I don't know whether that's the correct approach.
Where's the fear come from?
Fear comes from the fact that he's actually got to round up horses that might be good. He's going to be ridden quietly, and the betting said that the Guri horse, it was the Guri horse, the other day, and
prized icon.
And the Gary Fraser Sprite on the inside. There
was one horse in that race, really.
There was one horse in the race.
And the parade said there was 2 horses, which was the Guri horse and his.
Right. Anyway, so I'm worried about it tomorrow. I think that Suchez is a real horse, and I'm keen to see Good Standing on his home track. But
yeah, I think I'm gravitating towards those top 3 colts. I think they look to have the measure of their rivals here. But Telperion, for me, the fact that he's a listed winner already, and then he gets in at this set weight terms against horses who, four of them haven't even been to the races yet.
All right, you're saying that stable confidence will ensue from that.
Yeah, and I'm suggesting that the fact that he's had a run at 1100 metres going to 1200, whereas the other two chances are first up at 1200 as 2-year-olds, is a little bit tougher. So I think there's a lot of things in his favour to say that 240 to sort of that price at the moment, I think it might be good, because to me, the way he raced, he gave away a big start over the 1100 metres, 1200 metres. Look, he's probably going to again be giving him a start, but I just love the way he the way he sort of continued to work through the line, and he just got better and better as he got on.
When the job was done, he did the job and did the job.
The only query I can see is the 6 metre rail, whether it does play fence on.
Yeah, it should be small enough field for them all to be in the lane, though, isn't it?
Well, it can, but he's probably going to have to come 3 wide, 4
I think
wide
the
around.
fine James McDonald is not necessarily a left link man.
No, no. But I've got him as a clear top chance here for the fact that he's a listed winner already. He's got the run on the board and meets them on level weights.
I thought Good Standing did exceptionally well first up, and what you say about 1200 is so right, but what he did over 1100 metres at Rose Hill, which is on debut, to be able to stick on like it did was an amazing effort. Like, it's surged in the mid-race, and normally for a 2-year-old that's just white flag, see you later. Really nice type of a horse. Sort of as a little bit of a reminder of Press Statement. Press Statement, I still think one of the most amazing things is it started 20 to 1 on debut. This horse started at big odds on debut, about the same price, wasn't it?
Glen on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, had Glen on, exactly. Now gets Hubert. And then raced like it looked. Right, you know, you're a good type. You're a good type. And then it raced up to it. So maybe the market might have been...
It flew under the radar for its first start, and it returned astonishing figures for a 2-year-old at that stage of the season, over 1100 at Rose Hill.
For it to hold on like it did is, and I'm pretty sure there's a bit of an opinion of it. I like the 1000 metre trial too. The 2 trials, 1000 metre, and a good trial.
The trial was good because the horses sort of got to it on its outside, and it was a bit like Astern last week. Hugh was just sort of nurse, and in the trial he just sort of let it go that last 50 yards and sort of said, right, you're going to win the trial now. But he was made to do a fair bit of work.
Yeah. Anyway,
so he's a good yardstick for Telperion.
Oh, to run down, exactly right. Anyway, I'm Good Standing on top and keen to back with the right yard. Beautiful. Race 3, Tab Highway Plate. Before we get in, Fletch, back firing. Not that the joint has not been absolutely flying. Brent. The $20 service continues to churn out winners, but the race to race Sydney Melbourne has just been awesome. It's doing exactly what we said it would do. Not only finding a stack of winners, but highlighting those horses that are just going to be off the map, and you're playing ahead of the market, which is so crucial.
Well, it helps when you're getting information from one of the guys who's moving the market. So
yeah,
he's basically forecasting what he's going to do, and you're finding out before the majority of people. So if you do like to trade, it is a good tool. But not only just Fletch, Johnny Walter had a big day on Thursday at Hawkesbury. This $20 service. I think he tipped 3 winners and a little all up there, and DK and Potts' set also.
They were 2 from 2 yesterday. I think that probably puts them into profit mode, but they have had a hell of a week with lots of seconds, lots of things go wrong. But that's going to be a great service as well too from them. Victoria 20. Those $20 services, right? But back to that Fletch. $99 service, he's the one that we have a bit of a special on this week. If you sign up for the $99 Fletch service, you'll also get his $20 service, which gives you tips on a Wednesday, Friday and Saturday. And then the race by race stuff from Melbourne and Sydney half an hour before the race, and he's
just BYO Compass.
Yeah,
because you might be
with the $20 service.
You might be travelling all across the country, Hong Kong, anywhere you got to go to find a winner. But
they do. Article online about it, a video I caught up with Fletch yesterday having a chat about it, so you can find out more there. Or if you want to just get the $20 service, you'll get also There They Are, which is a little battler which continues to win mark all over the shop, and also the daily shots thrown in. So that's $40 worth of value for $20 a week if you just want to play the targeted good things on the Wednesday, Friday and Saturday. But all the details about that are on the site. Have a look and jump on board with Team Fletch, because it is a good team to be on. Race 3, Highway Plate, 1600 metres.
Is that last highway for a time being?
Is it? Oh, okay, I wasn't aware. A Point Percy is the 6 to 4 favourite. King's Officer around about $5 marks with Cool Cat Dancer and Swivet.
Jeez, they didn't miss this, did they?
No.
11 to 8, A Point Percy, which He's eminently likeable in many respects, other than the price.
Who
So
does
Cool Cat Dancer has not raced for a month and sees 1600 for the first time. So you imagine he gets on the bunny. And I had Swivet racing forward for Hubert, despite the fact that he's coming back in distance, destined to win on speed. And the others do their best. Point Percy has an interesting assignment here in that he probably has to go forward because there's just too many slow horses there that you know, going back looks fraught with danger. I imagine the King's Officer will go back, but not necessarily a Point Percy. So obviously Cool Cat Dancer makes his own luck, but as I said, he's 28 days, a mile for the first time, and big odds the other day.
And he's Cool Cat Dancer.
It's 25 to 1 the other day. You want to say anything about this?
I don't really have a lot of time for this race, to be honest. It's one of the highways that I haven't really been able to sink my teeth into.
No,
I think a Point Percy looks. I'd imagine when I don't know the story behind the horse, but looking at it, having 4 starts in New Zealand, purchased Luke Pepper into his stable, he's probably thought this is a perfect horse that we can get one of these highway or 2 highway races, lightly graded, coming out of a Canterbury midweek or Friday night run, which was quite strong. Tower of Song, that's been a good formula for these races. The negative is obviously the gate. If Brent Abdallah can overcome that, put him into a position, I think it'd be too good, but he's very skilled.
The good formula might be just to get John Moore to sit because he is the king of the highways.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of depth. I didn't see a lot of depth in the horses behind it. King's Officer coming back to a mile, maybe getting a little bit more speed, but again, probably going to be back and wide from that gate on a 6-metre rail. So.
All right, Mark, anything to add, or is
look, 3 the horse to beat. I did find 6, who's got a strong line through 7.
destined to win and Swivet we're talking about?
So destined to win Swivet and King's Officer have several clashes that you can look at there, and destined to win Possie's up here and represents a good play at odds here. That's all I'd suggest.
All right, before we get into race 4, what are you suggesting with your stuff, Mark? You've got a provincial bye on Saturday, don't you?
That's right. No, Wagga tomorrow means that it's just Randwick tomorrow, and hopefully I can replicate the feed of Wednesday, where everyone seemed very surprised about that horse, other than me. With Self-Esteem we're talking about, which won at good odds, scraped in at good odds on Wednesday. So I must say I sort of like this program from a betting point of view. So tomorrow you'll be looking at comments for the major runners in each race, runners that I feel are interesting, and suggested plays, suggested bets, assessed and expected prices for all runners, speed maps. It's quite a lot there, Dal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look out for an article as well, where you can.
The Saturday morning, I should say, article, which is great reading. Yeah, keep an eye on the site on Saturday as well too. Brent, it's obviously we hadn't done a lot since your involvement in the Saturday, but there's quite a few things floating through. Mark's article on the Saturday morning. There's going to be an RSP article. Hopefully today, in case just a bit.
You need daylight saving this day, Dale. It's going to be running out of time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well,
there'll be plenty of stories Saturday morning, and through the day at the races. I'm sort of trying to speak to as many of the beaten sort of brigade, because we hear a lot from the winners. You hear the interviews on Sky. You hear a lot of the other publications. You hear everything what's happened with the winners. I'm going to try, and what we're trying to do on the Punter Show is look. A lot of people aren't backing the winner, and if you haven't, you want to find out why. Come to the Punter Show. I'm interviewing jockeys, putting their clips straight up on the website, and you can actually listen to what they've had to say rather than being interpreted.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the case in point last week was perfect was Catkins, which was up within about 15 minutes of the race being done.
Yeah, it's a fantastic service.
So keep an eye on it.
Does a great job.
Brett will be tweeting out when they're online, so you can just check on the site. But the site where it probably went to sleep from Friday afternoon on is now well and truly awake on Saturday mornings and that. And of course on Saturday mornings, the radio show.
Yep, and the Fletch will be back this week.
Fletch will be back. I think he'll be on the phone though. He said because he's boxing again. So that Fletcher's back on air, and he normally just tips everyone.
He does Saturday morning boxing to sharpen him up for that.
Fletcher's preparation is different to a lot of other people's. Anyway, Mark, your stuff online and available after the scratching tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Look out.
Sweet Embrace Stakes over 1,200 metres. It is Twist Tops 480-ish, Scarlet Rain about $2.80. And
What market are you looking at, Dal? $6.50 twist tops, $4.40
I'm just going off
Rain,
the tab. Okay.
$4.60
All right.
in the Vanguard.
You do that. Okay.
Out to $8.
Mark, everybody out there has got the markets in front of them anyway, so let's not waste time too much on it. It's a guide. It's a market order. Okay. There it is. Go. What's the speed?
Well, Scarlet Rain draws the outside, so she's clearly heading forward. In the Vanguard, likes to be there, and she'll be contesting early. Kentucky Miss has been back to the trials since she contested a hot speed at Rose Hill in the Widden, and Palomino should posse up. Next division I had Twist Tops, Albalisa, Tale of Choice, Sugar Palmer going back, Gloriette going back, Smart Amelia off the speed, and I had Alluvian out the back with Zenalicious.
So what I read from that is a fair deal of early pressure here.
Yeah, look, Scarlet Rain will want the front. Curious booking from the Curious stable.
What
is that?
I'm heavily against the favourite here at 1,200 metres off 2,000 metre runs. Wide
Started at 11 back to 1,000.
Sorry. With that pressure, I don't see it running a strong 1,200 at Randwick.
Just on that pressure, we've got on the early figures they've done no horses beaten benchmark, but there looks like there could be that artificial pace. So none of them have actually run above benchmark.
No, but they're all going to be there.
They're probably going to. So I think that's going to. That's right, and it's going to. So they're going to be going faster than they have before, and that could well cause a few problems.
Especially when the big money's on and it's a stakes race for fillies. They're not going to. I think they're going to be chasing here.
Yeah, they're going to be over exerting themselves.
To me, Scarlet Rain looks a little bit one-dimensional from what she's produced thus far, and I just don't know if she has the ability to take a sit at some point and then try and accelerate, where there's going to be some that are going to be sitting on her back and working to the line quite strongly. And I thought Smart Amelia did a great job on debut.
Why is she $8?
I can't work it out. This is the best fillies race that we've seen so far, in my opinion, the Widden Stakes. She was a little bit slow out of the gates and just continued to make ground on a very smart filly in Honesty Prevails, who, if she was in this race, would be 6-4.
Yeah. And Honesty Prevails was revved right up too.
So, James Cummings, second start. Hugh Bowman goes on board.
Comes home.
Sits in a lovely spot from gate 5, just in behind the speed. I think she's a good each way play here.
Can't disagree with you there. It was interesting that Scarlet Rain, whilst I was impressed with the way she quickened at the 200 the other day, I'm looking at the race going, there's nothing there. Like Twist Tops was getting ready for her restricted sale race, which in the end, she touched off Beat Murray's 100-to-1 chance that it sat 3 deep on the speed throughout.
They got lapped the other day.
Right, so there is no form there.
No,
and Prized Icon, who we stupidly suggested had a good chance against Telperion 2 weeks ago, the betting immediately went, that's not form, guys. So, there's no guts to switch Scarlet Rain's form. In the Vanguard has done nice things, but also it's all controlling.
That was a very on-speed Canterbury day.
Look, it was a typical Canterbury. I'm there, and therefore I'm square.
And and its late numbers were off the cliff.
Right, so she's contesting in this race under similar circumstances. She's coming home, but you're looking for an off-pacer. You're looking for something that's gonna bludge a bit.
Yeah.
And
Smart Amelia is that horse.
So I'm rubbishing the form of numbers 1 and 2. I'm questioning the form of number 7, and I even think that something like Tale of Choice could be dangerous here. Gloriette's been priced off her debut run in Melbourne. She was a bit plain at Kembla, I must say, even with McDonald on tomorrow. So Smart Amelia, I'm quite keen.
The Palomino trial during the week, it was only 5 days ago, so it was that Monday. I thought it was trialled quite nice. Interesting that William Buick on rather than James McDonald, which suggests it's the stable's second string, if it might be. But I thought she was, I hope, of quite a strong trial. And
basically,
parked in behind the speed.
Basically, shit-potting all the form apart from Smart Amelia, really, aren't we? So so something that's a bit of DF that comes into it.
I was desperate for Zenalicious to go around on Wednesday at Rose Hill, but Lesbridge was quick to scratch and go straight to a stakes race on debut, which is a decent throw at the stumps, and she did try well beating Tessera, who has that sort of run against Defcon.
Yeah.
So Zenalicious I could also entertain at a big price.
All right, lovely. Well, we're all saying Smart Amelia, right spot, maybe the right form, $5. Jeez, it's James Cummings. I'm going
$8 or $9.
It's $8.
Is it $8? Is it? Yeah. Beautiful. Good, even better. Lovely. Next race is single go. No, what am I saying?
Yep.
The Surround Stakes is the next race, and heading the market is Jasoni, who you had an interesting article on yesterday, wasn't it, Brent?
Yep.
And that's ahead of Stay With Me and Perignon.
So we go to 1400 and speed switches off. I mean, the wild card is Captured, who is a 1,000-metre horse who would have the speed to make this interesting, but has been ridden off the speed for a while now. Jasoni looks to take it up. Perignon looks to sit second. Pearls looks to sit third.
Honestly, Stay With Me goes a little bit further forward today. Sure.
Well, she doesn't restrain back, and you know she's going to be midfield.
Yeah.
The article about Jasoni, Brent. Do you
Yeah.
want
Well, speaking with John O'Shea, because I was at the time I wasn't sure why she was scratched a fortnight ago. She had an issue with a tooth the day before, had to be capped, had to treat it. So then they didn't want her to run in the light fingers. Not that she's had any setback as a result of that, but John O'Shea felt because she missed the run at 1200, she's now chasing a tail against these fillies that had the run in the light fingers, where she's now going straight into the 1400 metre race on the back of what she had one trial a month ago off a 13-week break. So he said, ability-wise, he's got no doubt she's up to this, and that she can definitely win, but he does feel that she may be a touch vulnerable on the fitness side because she missed that 1200 metre run.
The only thing I'll counter that with is it going to be a 1400 metre race, or is it going to be just a whoop and then off the go? So that's the thing in her favour.
When I initially did my form, I was sort of still happy to go to a 1400. With that, he said, you know, they've also tried to get as much work into it as they can, but race experience has got to count for something when the others have had that run.
And even if you are puffering around in the front, you know, you still got to do it from the front as well too. Mark?
Look, Jasoni the horse to beat. She's got not a bad setup for her, despite what we've spoken of, because the other runners basically want to sit back. Perignon, I think, will run well again, and Pearls, I think, can improve because she was on the inside the other day and she gets blinkers. Anesta is a horse that is a surprise backer, you know. Anesta is
her form's great.
Yeah, she's good.
She's that typical John Thompson horse that just keeps getting under your guard, doesn't he?
Look at her form last preparation. She finished second in an Oaks, second in an Ethereal, second in a Flight Stakes beat the Pimple, second in a T-Rose.
Yeah.
Not bad for her last 4 runs for a filly that is 20 to 1.
That's right. And probably he's going to be sitting second.
Trialled twice without blinkers, and is a different horse with blinkers on. So I'm expecting her to be a lot more switched on Saturday. And look, the map you'd think for her is not ideal because I can't see Ty England being driven out of the gates when she's got an Oaks campaign.
Yeah, but she's going to with how slow they're going to go. She's probably the logical horse to be second, third, or fourth.
When you look at her runs, because that was deep into her preparation when she was racing at that decent level. When she was starting off a campaign in Brisbane, she was really getting back off the speed early on until she was sort of.
But that was probably off races that had speed in it, as opposed to this.
She was drawing wide and just going back. So that's my concern. But I don't think she deserves to be a 20 to 1 chance.
No, fair point.
I'm disappointed in the price of Hartlings, who is a wild card here, but she was 25 to 1 in the midweeks at Warwick Farm, resuming, and got the advantage of a lane that was in operation that certainly flattered her win. But anyway,
what about even a horse like Ambience here, who her Dulcify win over a mile at Randpreview was quite dominant.
I think she's over the odds. Look, it's a race where I suggest the favourite is a 5 to 2 chance, but looks a good chance.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 horses sitting there at 7 to 2. Stay With Me, who obviously comes here as favourite in the as favourite in the lead up.
No, I think Stay With Me is supposed to beat. I think it's going to be close to a 400 metre sprint. It should be close enough to him. It's probably got the best 400 metre sprint in the race, and probably be a little bit more positive.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I can't offer anything more there.
Perfect. All right. Race speed profiles. keep an eye on them. I think we're going to nail tomorrow all across the board. And there will be 2 articles up definitely this week. One on Sydney in the feature race, one in Melbourne in the feature race. If you don't know what it is, have a look at it, have a look at the insight. That's the best way to do it. And go from there. But keep an eye out for articles later this afternoon. Worst case scenario tomorrow morning. Guy Walter Stakes Race 6, 1400 metres. Solicit is the favourite ahead of the ever frustrating Peeping and Amicus.
Yes, another mares race. We need, we need Group 3 mares races every week. It was a Group 2, is it?
Yeah. Well, we've got a
We
group.
just have one every week.
3 Group 2.
There must be 2 separate pools of horses.
Yeah,
is there?
Group 2. 3 Group 2 races for the girls on Saturday. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and open.
All right. Okay. Well, so let's Solicit leads Vigara. That's a no-brainer there.
It's pretty easy, isn't it?
And Peeping lobs into an ideal position there. Amicus would like to find her back, and that's not impossible. Because there are a few back markers here, and Mahara turns up off a very long spell, hard in the market.
Yeah, and the horse that doesn't really go first up.
Right, so I put it to Gord there earlier that Solicit, whilst she's tuned up, I mean, she was in a field of 2 the other day and she ran last.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
She wasn't beaten that far.
No,
No,
I like the way that she raced.
Huh?
She did race for a bit. She put down a fight to the best horse in Australia.
I'm thinking that there's an overestimation here.
Oh, yeah.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, could be. I mean, it's...
She raced a lot of unfit horses the other day.
Yeah, oh, of course, it was awful.
Peeping at 1400.
Oh, just fuck people. Fuck it.
Did you do your ass on it last
Oh,
night?
it fucks me every time.
Right.
You know, like it either beats you by a head or it just doesn't... I mean, what a dog effort that was. Go get fucked, people.
Alright, so what about Amicus? The last 2 times I've seen her at Randwick, she's won when she wasn't entitled to win.
Yeah, exactly.
She won like a shit race, I know, but 3 weeks ago here, but she was not supposed to win.
Yeah.
And the time I saw her before, which was 1300 on this track, she didn't really have a rail position to flat. It was a 6-metre rail on that occasion. She drew out there and she just kept reeling in a horse that was flying at the time, which was Echo Gal.
Yeah.
So she's my go-to girl here, Amicus.
Yeah, I've just got a feel about Amicus might be a real elevator, a real wallet elevator this time in. What she did first up, I mean, she's got a lot of improvement. She was, I think it was, we made the point on the punter show and the communication that we send out. Really good order, but plenty of upside. You know, a typical Waller project horse that's going to get better 2nd, 3rd, 4th up. Yeah, she might be a real, you know, the one to go from, you know, just floating around to actually being an elite mare, whatever that means.
I think there's a bit of intent here. I know she's been off the scene for some time, but I'm expecting that Mahara is going to be absolutely tuned up.
You
for this
reckon?
race.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Well, she's formerly trained by Guy Walter. This is the Guy Walter Stakes.
Oh,
Lake Shimon.
all that stuff.
Wow.
No, but like, and it was sort of in the back of my mind, and then I heard an interview with Paul Snowden on Sydney Radio this morning saying she was formerly trained by Guy Walter. We've had this race sort of penciled on the calendar.
What?
Okay.
So enough to miss a spring campaign? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that
deliberately bypassed the spring.
No. I'm not saying there must have been an issue there in the spring, which I'm not exactly sure was. But coming up for the autumn, I think this is the race that has the big sort of red text around it in the calendar for them.
Okay.
And
so why not give it a lead?
Why not give it a let-up run then?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. 2 trials, 1400. A distance record is very good. She goes good at Randwick. Inside gate on the minimum weight, so I thought at $11. I watched this race last year when it was at Warwick Farm, and she finished 3rd behind Dane Siri, Cosmic Endeavour. Solicit was 4th, and she was going past her on the line. Not a bad yardstick. I'm expecting her to do something.
Just for a race.
Dane Siri.
Dane Siri. Yes. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Solicit is too short in the market just because she ran 2nd to Winks last start. I don't really like Peeping. And I thought at $11 each way, Mahara wasn't a bad play for something where I can see there's a lot of added incentive for her to be running well.
So a horse I've always had a good opinion on and have won good money on. Yeah.
So that's my thought.
I think she almost has to go to all, not to her best, but if Amicus improves the level that I think it might, she has to almost not be too far off a PB. To win this race, and that's that. Yeah, okay.
She's only beaten 3.5 lengths in a Coolmore where she had no luck.
Oh yeah, I know. But you know, I mean, what I'm thinking is I think Amicus might.
But then she's weighted up to her best, in my opinion. Like, she's got to give these mares 3 kilos.
Yep.
The way I look at things, I think she's harshly
And while
treated,
I won't like the weight wide gate scenario, will he?
I don't know. What does he say on his?
Can Zambar run a race fresh here? Or does she need a little bit of sting out of the track?
Went well first up last time, but it's still
second up her run was good in the festival.
Heavy track first up last time.
But anyway, all right, okay. I will be happy to be Amicus, and I think, but Solicit's the obvious starting point. Up and running, third up. Yeah. She's doing well. She's racing well, and she's got capabilities when she races well to return the right numbers. And
I'll be sort of chopping out on her with Mahara.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, she's got the configuration to work for her, doesn't she, Solicit? And you might be poo-pooing a little bit, but
no, I'm just look. I don't like mares coming back to their own sex. That's always a big no-no with me, and it's not for any huge. You know, there's not a lot of substance to that other than.
I think your point is that it might be overplayed, and therefore discounted too much.
Well, I'm thinking that this is overplayed. Like Solicit is up and running and is the horse to get past. So yeah, well, she's clearly got a great chance.
Who's your best player in the race? Amicus.
Number 1.
Perfect. Race 7, the Chipping Northern Stakes. Talk about a 2-horse race. We have probably a 1-horse race. Winks is favourite, Hartnell second pick.
Do your best.
Do your best.
Yeah. So gee, you need a pace. This race needs a pacemaker, doesn't it?
She could accidentally lead, couldn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite possible.
Well, there's 4 horses I have astern of the rear.
Yeah, and they're all
Centre Pivot, Winks, Storm the Stars, and Dibiani.
Storm the Stars won't be going any quick from what
Well,
I've seen so far.
well, I know.
It looks like Michelangelo Mark II.
Yeah, I know it does, doesn't it? Michelangelo Warringah and Storm the Stars. I know that. I thought, for my mail is, I think Waller had a really good opinion of the horse a few weeks ago.
Who? Storm the Stars.
Storm the Stars.
Before he put him in a trial.
Before they went into trial, and before it looked in that track work up last week, Brennan couldn't pick its feet up.
Oh, that was the one that was tailed off.
Yeah.
It's trying to tack on.
It was just, they were going in slow motion.
Did it gallop in the blinkers the other day?
I'm not sure. I didn't see it. It's one of the best performed horses you've seen.
It's got a fantastic form.
As a stallion, like it's got everything you want. But
you know, and interestingly, on
debut,
debut,
it started even money favourite over Golden Horn.
Well, on debut, wasn't it?
No, second start. Second start.
Yeah.
It was a new market maiden on debut.
Ran into Golden Horn
and was SP $2 favourite.
Who subsequently won the English Derby.
And the Arc, and the best horse in Europe.
Yeah. Okay, well, the blinkers are going to have to be good though, aren't they? From what we've seen.
Another time it's run third behind it in the Derby.
So has anyone checked the brands?
Well, don't worry, that plane trip from Europe to Australia can slow them up.
Warringah came over well performed. Michelangelo was very well.
He's got amazing form, and I was alerted to this horse because I went, why has he got blinkers on? That seems odd. And then I had a look at the trials and I went, oh hello. Yeah. It's not happening.
No, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna need to see something.
Right. Okay. So
anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Does Winks have to play?
Well, she might accidentally she might just accidentally be there, which I'm sure they don't want to.
Does Hartnell
raced our OSL in his mile resumption last year.
And I reckon they thought that was the wrong move too.
Because then in this corresponding race last year, he was back off the speed at Warwick Farm, flashed through the field and run second to Contributor, and it was a sensational run.
Yeah, I reckon I think the team might have realised that was probably the wrong move, having him on pace first.
Yeah, but he can get quite keen.
He can.
He's quite a strong sort of galloping horse, and if there's not a lot of speed, if they're looking to try to find a spot,
I'd say Hartnell probably is the likely leader, but I reckon their intent will be not to. But then again, your intent doesn't really matter much if you're trying to, Grand Marshal and all the rest of them are the ones you're trying to lead.
Look, the muddling map just forced me to backtrack a bit on the favourite because I thought this is just not a standard setup.
It could be icky, couldn't it?
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's really uncomfortable.
You just love a little.
Just played a bit of a straight back with the favourite and yeah.
Sit and watch, really.
Yeah, it's a watching race.
Yeah.
Put it this way: I'd rather take $1.80 to place Hartnell than I would taking $1.40.
Well, I would have rather been taking $1.50. Well, I'd much prefer taking $1.50. Well, $1.70. She got 2 Winks first up than the $1.40 or whatever it's going to be tomorrow.
It's funny. She's taking on black caviar proportions. Not necessarily. This is the first time she's got into a really short quote, but in terms of the numbers of the horses in her races, now for the first time, I've looked at the numbers, my numbers, sorry, I should say, of horses that resumed in the race the other day, and they're out of the ballpark compared to their previous numbers.
Okay.
You know, and the last time I saw that was sort of TJ Smith TJ Smith Stakes Black Caviar, where horses were starting 100 to 1 that, you know, you're not used to starting that sort of price. So she is clearly a phenomenon that we're dealing with at the moment, and you know, there will be a lot of it. There will be plenty of expectation out there tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, a bit icky, or that she just wins. Bad luck. I'll make a point. Dibiani paraded awfully. Hadn't seen it before, but it paraded awfully first up, but really ran to its numbers. And yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, is that it? Yeah.
Well, it's just not an interesting race to bet, like, to even decide. Like,
what
do you do? Yeah, she's a $1.30 favourite, she wins.
She either races a little bit disappointingly, a little bit of a worry, and wins by 2, or she races up to her best.
You're not going to have a confident bet for something to beat her, so you're not really going to be taking that price for her to win. So
we ran a poll on the site. What were the results of that poll?
$1.50 was a good price, which is proven to be.
Which is not available anymore.
Not exactly right.
Okay.
All right. The
something to spruik?
Oh, something to spruik. Why not? I mentioned race. Glenn, Mounting Guard Male, can't breathe without it.
He'll be deep in the tournament tomorrow.
Yeah.
Inner psychopath.
Unleashing your inner psychopath on Mounting Guard Male. Can't breathe without it. Obviously, the 2-year-olds are going to be very interesting from the Mounting Guard Male perspective, as are these horses as they progress through their preparation. So that is vital, and a huge day at Caulfield. Should talk about that as well. You got Warren Huntley down there, Darren Potter. Whether you go through Pro Bet Alive or his stuff, Darren Potter. Massive confidence, Brent.
Yeah.
Spoke to him yesterday. He said, "This is the best meeting I've seen in a couple of months, and I am opening up the shoulders." Yeah, so if you haven't tried, you've heard us talk about Darren. He's been the student of the Punters Show who's just come good and just become a superstar set provider.
The Punters Show protege.
And just when it comes to providing sets, you know, you've got good punters, you've got that, but when it's providing sets that you can win off and get something out of it, he is just awesome. And this is, if you've been hearing about us talk about him and you've been thinking about getting his stuff, this is the day to get it, because he loves Caulfield and he loves this meeting. He's going to really have a good crack. So grab Darren, or even better still, do it through the Pro Bet Alive chat room, where you get Johnny Walter's stuff and also all of the Mounting Guard information, all the betting moves throughout the afternoon and any changes to what happens. So that is the spruik from around the grounds. But Mounting Guard Male, Pro Bet Alive, Darren, they all win. Jump on board. The ex-Liverpool City Cup, now the Waverley Cup. Although City of Randwick, they haven't merged it, is it? Randwick's got a little 10-pot council. The Randwick City Cup
Coogee Cup
is basically, they're battling out for favouritism between Big Money, General Ife, and Rich Enough with his head in front, and Good Project is sitting on their hammer.
Good race.
Yes.
Good race. Not many youngsters in the race, as in 4-year-olds. What have we got? 3 4-year-olds? Good Project.
Yeah, they might be. Good Project, Backman.
Rich Enough.
And he mightn't get a start.
And Rich Enough.
Yeah.
We've got Tiger Tease, who's finally got a jockey, Jay Collett. He's been back to the trials since, and he's drawn wide. He's got one way to go. Rich Enough will obviously posse up. And in the next bracket, I had Cool Company, Good Project, and Big Money. And with a query on Famous Seamus, who was ridden with great success on the speed there at his last run before spelling.
Beautiful. I'm really looking forward to this race from a Mounting Guard perspective.
River Lad perhaps has shown no speed from a long spell, 2 runs from a long spell, but Winker's back on.
Mounting Guard Male here, Mounting Guard perspective, this race is really interesting. General Ife races as he parades first up, and he paraded big. If they try and this time, well, you know, it was a little bit of a uninterested performance.
There's a big tick. There's a big
General Ife.
There's a big tick here. Blinkers back on.
Yeah,
1300, not 1200.
It's the same profile as what it was last time, where he came back and la-di-da'd first up, or whatever, and then actually did la-di-da second up there last preparation, but he improved a lot. But from the yard, he was big first up. Rich Enough was good without grabbing you, but definitely not a strikeout, so he might improve a lot, and I'm expecting to see that. Good Project, interesting horse, and when you use the term project, we mention that a lot. Now, he was just a weekend battler for Waller. Now
no, Dallas, he's a Group 1 winner.
Now he's a Group 1 winner, but he's been tuned up his last 2 first up, and he's done enormously well first up the last 2.
What was his little heart?
Yeah.
He resulted in first up.
Yeah, well now, but he might not be tuned up this time because there might be bigger goals.
His trials have been good.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how he presents.
Short break,
And our old mate Famous.
1300.
Yeah.
Hubert, I think he's a goer.
I think he is too, but I'm very interested to see how he presents. So I'm saying Mounting Yard, very important here, and Big Money, who's we've had a very good handle on from the parade as well too, and then I'll make Famous
I'm
Seamus.
quite keen here on a roughie. I'm having a good bet here.
Who's that?
Charlie Boy.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to work out why he's sort of. I've got 20 to 1 each way, and
You can have 80s with me.
Yeah.
I can't. Well, I just looking at the market, I can't see why General Leafe or whatever it's called is sort of $5 and hard in the market when this horse, when they met in the Doomben 10,000, beat at home. There wasn't much between them. Was only narrowly beaten by Boban. First up does go good. 2 trials with no blinkers. Blinkers on here. Significant gear requirement for this horse. Draws inside. Probably gets a lovely suck just back on the fence, and I can see him running
So I should be scared.
I just think I can see him running very, very well in this race, considering that he's been narrowly beaten in a Group 1 weight for age race and now carries 2 kilos underweight for age. Bishin on, yeah, I think he's poised to run a good race around horses that are. He has form all through horses that are sort of $5-6 in this race, and you're getting, well, he was 20 to 1.
Yeah, and it is a bit of a scary yard, isn't it? They presented Dothraki to win under similar circumstances in Oval. So certainly what you say bears some inspection. I thought Rich Enough went really well the other day.
I think he did too.
So he's hard to get through.
That's what I'm really looking
I
forward to
like
seeing
what
how
Good Project did through his preparation last time in, and I think that he's, being a 4-year-old, being a fellow 4-year-old, has good claims. And outside of that, I'm semi-interested in Famous Seamus and Silver Ball, and well, like
team.
finally got rid of a particular rider.
Oh, that happened a while ago.
What do you mean? She wrote it.
Which
I'm
horse?
not
you're
talking
talking
about.
about Robin Freeman
I'm not talking about that rider. She was
Jesus.
all right.
Are you talking about horse?
She was all right. Like there was a rider on Famous Seamus for the first 4 runs of last
Gaffey.
campaign.
Yeah.
That, when replaced at Sandown, resulted in ringing up a win. So anyway, 8 from 10 for me, and that'll do.
Then I'm there, my 2 numbers as well, Mark, and with interest in what General Leafe presents as
Yeah,
well.
I'm 7.
Charlie Boy.
Charlie Boy you give a big watch here, Cool Company. Big watch, Good Project, and also big watch It's Somewhat, who won this race first up last year.
When it was the Liverpool City Cup. Now the Randwick City Cup. Schweppes handicap finishes off.
It's a low-key finish, isn't it?
Yeah, Meersalt favourites.
Should have stuck the mile and a half race on down here.
Ahead of Nancy. Ahead of my favourite.
Nancy, the most famous big brown that I know.
She's not very big.
Not very big. This
Sorry,
horse.
she should be by a small brown. She's not the smallest horse you've ever seen.
Right, okay. Merso.
Whatever.
Looks to take it up. El Sasso has been kept fresh and drives up on his outside. Typhoon Jolie, the stablemate of El Sasso. Aussie's up underneath. Interesting that Snowden's got, what, Nancy, El Sasso, Typhoon Jolie here, so there's a bit of a play going on there.
Play there, isn't it?
Danish Twist and my favourite on the speed. Dragonfly and Nancy midfield. Bold circle outside it. Unequivocal Kimayon, Turbulent Jet and Madal out the back. I'm wondering why O'Shea is positioning with Kimayon. That seems an odd one.
Well, I've had something on Kimayon at 50s.
Oh, okay. So talk us through that one.
Not a horse that really come up
Winner
on
of
my
one run.
He hasn't come up on my radar through his recent form. He's come up on my radar through his recent barrier trial, where he finished second to Sweet Fire, and it just looked like the Kimayon of old. Like it looked like a horse who has been, when you look at his form, he hasn't fired since his 3-year-old days. He's had 3 very average runs, but he's only had 1 run turned out, 1 run turned out, 1 run turned out. But the fact that you do so, they are persisting with a gelding that's a 4-year-old in an establishment that is predominantly 2- and 3-year-olds. Why is he still there? The recent trial says to me that there may have been an issue. I don't know. Yeah. There may have been something that was plaguing this horse that they've got right. And look, he's weighted with 61 kilos, 1,200 metres, probably not ideal, but He did run 4th in the Caulfield Guineas behind Shooting to Win. He did run 2nd in a Run to the Rose behind Hallowed Crown. He has some serious 3-year-old form if he can get back to that. And I just thought $51 was, look, I'm having a small play at big odds in a race that I thought was tricky, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him run more.
Okay, so that's Brent's roughy play. What do we say about the favourite, Mersu?
No, I think it's ready to
He's
go.
on
Dry
speed,
track.
Keen,
Got the dry track
6
last
metre
time.
rail.
Just ran out of puff a little bit.
Yeah,
Should be
he's
brought right on.
He's
He's the horse to beat.
Yes, fair enough.
Because Nancy is the most. Oh, it just goes on
Overrated.
unders all the time. It's a little runt.
Right.
She does have a turn of foot.
So
Yeah, good on her.
Sort of catches people's eye.
Yeah, let me out. Wet track's her only hope in life.
Okay. Right, well, we'll have to watch that space. I was interested in the mares here, Nancy, and to a lesser extent Unequivocal, who has stupidly had way too many runs beyond 1200.
Completely agree. And she gets a big opportunity here with no weight on her back.
So, look, certainly Mersu is well set up and, didn't have the best of the lanes last fortnight back, so he gets his chance. What do we say about the unlucky Hong Kong tendinitis?
It's just my favourite that you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're just hard to get a gauge on when they've had
I thought his run was...
His run was acceptable.
It was more than acceptable in my
Yeah.
opinion. He didn't have a lot of luck. I think that's the key to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I just find them very hard to get a gauge on when they've had 1 million days off. And then they've had a good first up run. Do they then fly through the roof, or do they go backwards? I can never get a handle on them.
I'm believing my eyes with the horse.
Yeah.
Like, he trialled well on 3 occasions. He's ran well.
Yeah.
He's a quality horse in my opinion. That's why I found this race quite tricky, because I could see my favourite running well, Merceau running well. I'm very intrigued by Madal, blinkers on, first up, Joe Pride. It's not usually one of his plays unless the horse is ready to strike fresh. And I do remember a decent plunge being
There was a
landed
huge go
with this horse, Madal, first up at Warwick Farm in previous preparation. Nancy's trialled quite well and Unequivocal with 51 on its back. I can see racing well. So I'm sort of 7 chances, I think, in this race.
Well,
I'm finding it hard to narrow it down.
Yeah.
That's why I've had a small play at 1 at 50s.
Beautiful. Right. I don't mind this one.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not exactly the greatest animal in the world. All right, boys, let's wrap it up.
That's the end of Liverpool City Cup Day, Chippy Norton Stakes Day. Don't go to Warwick Farm, get to Randwick and
make
get to Top Better.
Yeah, and tournament, obviously, and make sure you tune into Brent's radio show on Saturday morning, where I've saved myself from, because sets are going to be delivered. You beauty, all right, lovely. So that'll be online. Yeah, exactly. That'll be online from about, 10 o'clock tomorrow, thereabouts. And we'll be speaking with Mark, Stu Davidson, Fletch, Darren Potter, Vince Accardi, Johnny Walter, Johnny McLeod, somebody else, and Glenn Pollitt. And
plenty to talk about.
Yep.
Always good listening, and hopefully people are enjoying it and finding a winner for them.
Beautiful. Good luck. Thank you.
Excellent.